Join me as I dive deep into the dark secrets of mythology that the princes of hell have revealed. Can I uncover the truth behind these ancient tales? Today, we will explore the dark and fascinating secrets of the princes of hell, diving into their origins and their roles in various mythologies. The seven princes were the leaders of the demons that reside in Abrahamic underworld known as hell. Dark and dangerous beings of immense power and presence. A wave of their hands and whole swaths of land would be reduced to inhospitable wastelands. A simple command, and armies would charge out to crush their foes, more afraid of failing their leader than the pointed spears of their enemies. They were monsters, both in body and heart. Ruthless and cruel, their souls were hardened by diabolical ambition and fast-stained efficiency. For years, hell has been organized by Lucifer into the ruling body called the Seven Princes, in which the leading seven would rule over different vast areas of their lands. Each prince was responsible for their own subjects and lands. Many enjoyed how organized this system was, though a select few hated it, being forced at the bottom for their others to be on top. Their counterparts and rivals are the seven archangels. Even though they're known as the seven princes, there always has been far more than seven. Now let's get into the whole arcing story. Fall from grace. The seven princes were originally high-ranked angels that resided in heaven. During their time in heaven, they developed a camaraderie with one another and often bonded over certain topics during discussion. Due to their high-ranking status among angelic choir, they were revered and praised, with some being chiefs of the choirs they were in. However, it wasn't until Lucifer declared war against the Almighty that he found himself uniting as leading forces for the Morning Star's army of rebel angels, starting the war in heaven. Each of them princes would rebel for their own personal reasons or beliefs, although the only exception to that would be Belphegor, as he chose neither God nor Lucifer's side during the rebellion. Rulers of hell. After their fall from grace, each of the beings were twisted and transformed into hideous abominations. The seven rebel angels were either horribly or fatally injured during their violent battles against the heavenly host, leaving scars on their bodies as a reminder of their sins, as well as their hatred towards the respective enemy archangel. The first three to awaken from their impact in the abyss were Beelzebub, Asmodeus, and Leviathan, and as such were regarded as the three most pivotal as well as the most powerful monarchs that lord over the rebel angels under Lucifer and Satan. It was they who pushed to free Lucifer from his cage, who over time grew strong and took dominion over all of hell. Additionally, due to the three, along with Satan, Belphegor, and Mammon, being the first to awaken in hell, they became the first chosen rulers alongside the Morning Star. It is also said that hell eventually transformed into a current state due to the effects of their impact. After awakening and recovering, the fallen angels decided they needed a form of ruling government in their new plane of existence. Some vied for power, but undoubtedly the ruler of hell at that time was the leader of the fallen angels, the charismatic Morning Star Lucifer, who established himself as the supreme emperor of hell, or grand sovereign, with his second in command Beelzebub close behind him. The other rebel angels that made up the seven also became supreme rulers that lorded over the other lesser nobles as well. Courageous and strong, he made others bow before him through persuasion, bribery, or intimidation. For centuries, hell was organized by Lucifer into the ruling body called the Seven Princes, with him alongside his two closest confidants, forming the satanic triumvirate. Over time, their power grew greatly, which allowed them to usurp dominion over all of lower planes, leaving Lucifer and Satan as the true rulers, whilst Beelzebub became second in command of the former, being more or less an aid to Morningstar in his ambitions. Meanwhile, the others would rule over their different vast areas of land, where each prince became responsible for their own subjects and lands. Many enjoyed how organized the system was, though a select few hated being forced at the bottom while others reigned at top. Let's get into the corruption of man. As time passed, it was revealed that due to the nature and actions of the princes, they begot their first sins that would plague mankind until the end of days. As such, each of the 7 princes became the physical representations of the 7 deadly sins, being pride, sloth, greed, gluttony, wrath, envy, and lust. This in turn allowed them to mislead humanity into serving their twisted desires and turn them away from God and heaven, resulting in the damned souls being added to Hell's collection, to being used for either their own gain or enroll them in Hell's legions during the final battle between heaven and hell. Several thousand years passed before Mundus temporarily usurped Lucifer's throne and replaced him as the head prince amongst the 7. The 6 other ruling kings found Mundus to be nothing more than a whiny and bratty child that mulled over the expansion of his kingdom across all foreign realms, despite the policy and treaties that were established between the Abrahamic hell and the Hellenic underworld. Regardless, the princes were given the opportunity to truly plunge the world into darkness and sin, and that was by the use of convergence. Mundus had Lucifer craft the 7 gates of hell across the 7 continents of the world. The gates in question acted as conduits for the dimensional energy that ran amok through the main plane of reality, which in turn allowed the demons of hell safe passage through the gates and the planet. Because of the darkness, they spread all manner of fiends, monsters from the night, and other abominations emerged from the darkest corners. Kingdoms fell into ruin, religious folk forsook their faith, alchemists went mad, and so forth. They garnered the servitude of several humans who would plead to be in their employ, becoming Shalias. That particular era was dubbed by authors and scholars as the Dark Age. Even when Lucifer would soon return and depose the arrogant emperor back to his own sector in hell, he would continue to use these gates for his own agenda, but allowed Mundus to keep the one he had, the Temen Negru, as he had no use for it personally. While he wasn't as active as his fellow princes, he still watched as the others corrupted the souls of humanity in gleeful amusement. Now we're going into the end of the Dark Reign. The Dark Age came to its end when Sparta, the legendary Dark Knight, rebelled against his master, having been inspired and enlightened by a priestess who showed him the strength and beauty of humanity. Mundus and his armies were the first to fall by his might, due to the gates used by the Dark Emperor being destroyed and sealed away using a powerful spell that required the blood of the priestess and Sparta's own power, splitting into 2 locks that were fashioned into amulets. Each of the 6 princes would be confronted by Sparta and the allies he made along the way. The princes would meet their end by his sword, and instead of using the original method to seal Mundus away, Sparta destroyed the gates used by the devil princes with Yamato, a dark forged blade that served to counter the dimensional energies of convergence. With each defeat of the kings, their influence over the land where the gates were built wanes and fades completely after Sparta's legendary final battle against Satan and his subsequent imprisonment by the Dark Knight. The Age of Darkness finally came to an end with the defeat of the 7 princes and the destruction of the gates of hell. Let's get into the powers and abilities. The princes of hell are high-level demons that possess powers over all demons in hell, totally transcending every lesser demon to the point where they were able to destroy legions of lower-level demons demons with the snap of their finger. Many demons and even angels, like the cherubim, fear coming into a prince's field of vision, as some of them who have fallen were seraphim level demons and even true archangels like the morning star. They say that even for a human to summon a prince from hell is a super risky thing to do, because the more powerful the demon, the greater the offering has to be to force a manifestation into the human realm. In some cases, they say that the manifestation of a powerful prince like Asmodeus is capable of causing a blackout across North America. Regarding the offering, to invoke someone like Beelzebub may require sacrifice from several people, although in some cases it is not such a sacrifice. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the dark secrets of mythology. If you enjoyed this exploration into the dark sides of mythology, be sure to check out our next video on mythological creatures and their hidden truths.